Hello viewers, tonight I will be doing a channel update video, so to speak. Some of you already know that my channel is very, how should it be said, very different, and the things I talk about are of a broad range. A lot of you, of course, are watching the Claymore manga videos, which I have not had the time nor interest to really do any more of that yet. I do plan to continue that. However, I had mentioned before that I wanted to do that I wanted to read something else alongside manga, or rather, at first I had said it would be a different manga. But I decided I might as well, the only manga that I should read on this channel for now until I finish it is Claymore. And so in addition to Claymore, at times I will read a stories from Pulp Fiction magazines. So this was the Avon Fantasy Reader. This was the Crawling Horror. Maybe some of you may be interested in that. Maybe you won't. If not, I still have my Claymore readings, narrations, and commentary. Since then, I have been making some videos about Japan, some issues having to do with Japan. In particular, a woman named Yoko Ishii had, because of an exchange I had with her, I decided to make some videos about cultural matters in Japan that some people do not know about. This video in particular had to do with blackface and why Japanese people continue to do it. This is something that is not well known. The American Commodore Perry had brought it over to Japan, and ever since then it has been a staple of Japanese entertainment, despite a great deal of objection from Afro-Americans, especially, who have said, and even Africans who've migrated there. People have been talking about this for ever since Japan became popular in tourism. People have been talking about this. Ever since there were African and African American and tourists and people of different races coming to Japan, so many people have talked about this. Now, I also did a video about racism in Japan. If you do not know how this was spurred, it was spurred on by the aforementioned conversation with Yoko Ishii, who is a YouTuber who basically supported blackface and also showed discrimination towards Koreans. And so I thought, well, I should talk about some issues that are not very well known that happen to really be a part of Japanese culture. Now, some of you, my subscribers and other people, some of you may appreciate this, some of you may not appreciate this. If you are an individual, or if you are individuals who like Japan to the extent that you're willing to ignore any type of problems that the country has, then you probably will not like these videos. However, if you are individuals who are willing to look at some social dynamics in Japan, then these videos maybe they will be to your interest. They are commentary videos, like the ones I usually make. But anyhow, I suppose I should talk about my plans, so to speak, for the channel. Basically, my commentary is going to be about a whole variety of issues, and I almost have 50 videos on this website, and so most of the time what I talk about is rather erratic, so to speak. It is rather varied, it is rather broad. Now, some of you peradventure have seen the videos about Japan, and maybe some of you think, oh, he won't read manga anymore because he really does not like Japan. No, that is not what this is. This is just me giving some attention to some issues that are not well known about. Not many people know about the racial issues that Japanese people have, and so I think at times it is good to shine a light on it, especially when many other people are not doing so. And this is just something I know about. I know a great deal about Japanese culture. I know a great deal about Japanese Shinto religion and its connection to nationalism. Now, is nationalism a bad thing? No. Nationalism is subjective. Now, I am mature enough to know that nations do not exist. In other words, I am mature enough to know that the nations are abstract concepts. And because they're abstract concepts, and because I know that, I do not take nationhood seriously in the sense that I think of nations as being something that I am so intimately attached to that, oh, the motherland is so great and wonderful. I have to defend the motherland. For one thing, I'm a Christian, and in my opinion, in the purest sense. The very fact that my Lord Jesus Christ told me to turn the other cheek and not to resist evil, what force or worldly means, and I believe it was the Apostle Paul, I'm not particularly which apostle, said that our weapons are spiritual, they're not physical, they're not carnal weapons. So that precludes me from participating in any war on behalf of any country or defending the abstract fictional concept of nation, because I believe as a Christian I have a heavenly nation. So for me it is not such a big problem for me to talk about a different country's issues, its problems. All right? It is not really a priority that I have to respect a fictional concept. In my opinion, I'm just talking about people, and the very important thing to keep in mind when one is talking about people or groups of people is that what is often forgotten, people are individuals. People do not necessarily exist in groups. The groups themselves are abstract concepts. It is not as though the group has a mind, or the group has a soul, or the group has any sort of concrete existence. Individuals have minds. Individuals have souls. Individuals make decisions. Groups do not make decisions in and of themselves. Individuals give life to groups, and the same thing is true in regard to nations. The only reason any human nations, or rather worldly nations, exist is simply due to the fact that people give the nation its existence. Every single individual believeth in the idea of the nation, and therefore the nation exists. But For myself, I would like to be heavenly rather than worldly. I've talked about this a few times in a few different videos. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, that is my outlook, that is my Weltanschauung, that is my worldview, so to speak. So, it may become somewhat tiresome to hear me say that, but I do mean that. Many individuals are not of that particular state of mind. Some individuals think differently. They think that you cannot, you have to basically be a cheerleader or a team player or whatnot, whatever words you would use, in regard to nationhood. Everyone has to support the nation. People cannot say anything bad about the nation, what have you. And the same thing is true in regard to fandom. Whether it be anime, comic books, what have you, video games, people's favorite console, people get into groups. They form groups to basically defend and consolidate ideas. The same thing is true with nations. People get together and consolidate their nation, their ethnic group, their race, all of these perceived realities that they think are real in the concrete sense. When, truth be told, the only thing that is real in the concrete sense is the individuals, their minds, their outlooks, their understandings are variable. Their understandings are variable. And so, the nation is an idea held by real people, real concrete people who have a concrete existence. Alright? Not that the people are made out of concrete, no, but we're talking about abstract and concrete words. We're talking about the reality that the concepts only prevail. The concepts only have any sort of realness because we give them their realness. But anyhow, some of you know this, some of you understand what I'm saying, and some of you do not. But anyhow, it should be obvious that just because I talk about Japan doth not mean that I am moving away from reviewing manga or anything Japanese. No. And I have to say this for the people who may be perhaps wondering, oh, will he do anything Japanese again? Of course I will. I review media on this channel, but I'm a fan of no media. I'm not a fan of media, but I do review media. Anyhow, the Pulp Fiction that I'm going to review and read on the channel, excuse me, I have so much content from Pulp Fiction, or rather I have the potential to create so many videos from Pulp Fiction. I'm most certainly going to do that because, to be entirely honest, I am somewhat bored of reading Claymore. Is not... Now, some of you may have realized that the commentary I give in Claymore is a good deal much, and you wonder, why do I narrate and give commentary? Because some of you may have noticed during the video where I narrated the Pulp Fiction story, The Crawling Horror, I gave less commentary. That was because the writing was so good. The writing was so good and the story was so well written that I just realized I said the same thing twice. Please forgive me, people. I've just woken up. It is 3 a.m. basically, with the fast time, so to speak, which I do not like. I really do not consider it fast time. It's basically daylight savings time, what have you. But basically it's 2, if a person is being honest. In standard time it's 2, but anyhow, the writing, the story is so good. The writing is so good that basically I gave less commentary because for the Crawling Horror, because the writing was just so good. Now, can I say that about manga? No, I don't think I can say that about any manga. So basically with manga, the stories are, the writing is so subpar that I do give more commentary, to be entirely honest. And that is sort of a reflex I have to sort of talk about certain things in the story because they're either not well explained or I just have thoughts about them. So I talk about some cultural things and elements in the story as well. Whereas in Pulp Fiction, I do give commentary, but I don't give as much. Because the story is, the writing is so good, I really have to express how good that writing is and sort of continue with the narration and only give commentary when it is absolutely necessary. However, with manga, manga and comic books, I would say, and I have not read so many good comic books as well in terms of writing, but with that, it just lends itself to commentary, in my opinion. Other people do things differently. They don't give any commentary during the narrations, and there are some channels that do what I do. Unfortunately, not too. I mean, I think they're, I did not know if they're doing Claymore yet, but it would be nice if there were more narration channels narrating manga, because that was something I was looking for. But anyhow, I will, I think I'll be doing a Claymore video, maybe, who knows, to be honest. I really have to work around a lot of different things that happen in my life. I mean, the content is broad most of the time. Sometimes I put 3 videos out in a day, occasionally, and it all takes time, but people have subscribed for different reasons. Some people have subscribed for the Christian videos. Some people have subscribed for the cultural videos that have to do with different cultural things, symbolism, a great deal. Some people have subscribed for the manga. Some people really were interested in my Elden Ring and Demon Souls content, which I think I may try to play Elden Ring on PC again. Now, the problem I had on PC with Elden Ring was some type of DirectX problem, where this is the same PC I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 on. However, I had a problem playing Elden Ring because apparently my DirectX was somehow outdated or whatnot, and that really frustrated me. So ever since then, I have been collecting game footage with my PS4, which does not work that well because PS4 only captures in 720p. So in order for me to have 1080p capture on my PlayStation, I would need a video game capture card or something of that sort, and I'm not really interested in paying that much money because that could go towards saving for a PS5 or a new gaming computer or something of that sort. So I probably will be trying this again, to play Elden Ring on my PC so that I can do some Elden Ring videos with some Elden Ring gameplay of my own. Of course, I can always use gameplay from the internet. I always can, but for me, some of the videos I want to do about Elden Ring, it would be nice to have my own gameplay instead of relying on other people's gameplay and relying on 720p gameplay and so forth. I do not really like that, but mostly anything having to do with FromSoft games. I write a blog about the subject that I plan to do a video on first, and then I do a video on it. That particular format is somewhat boring, because I basically, in those videos, I read the blog, and I have noticed that is not necessarily popular, so I am going to plan to basically just download Elden Ring on my PC and try this. Because I feel I might as well, to be honest. But yes, I think for a while I think I didn't do videos for, what was it, a couple days, if not a whole week, and that was mainly due to the fact that my internet was down for a while and we had to fix it. But things should really resume from this point onward. As for Claymore fans, I do plan to, as I said, I do plan to continue, and that is going to be I'm not going to read another manga until I finish that one, because I started it and I might as well finish it. I'm not necessarily enthusiastic about it, because it is just as I have said. I did not know that I would even really have people watching those videos, but for myself, I did not have a problem with it. It's just that as I write those, I'm also going to be reading, as I read those, I'm also going to be reading Pulp Fiction, because I feel I have to change things up. I really feel that I need to do that. Because it is just as I've said, it's Claymore especially, all these violent type of manga, which, truth be told, I did not have very much of a problem with violent media with reading it, but just the bad writing. And some of you I know, I'm pretty sure, do not think the writing is so bad. Apparently everything in Claymore is very complex in terms of power and power level and what people can. It is very intricate, very sophisticated. You know, I understand that, but in terms of writing, in terms of reading something, at least from my perspective, the better written it is, the more enthusiasm I have. But anyhow, I just have been somewhat busy, so I'm just telling you all that content has been a great deal delayed because of some of the problems I've been dealing with. So this channel, most of you already know, it's about all types of things. And I already know that, you know, it is not realistic for me to think that everyone's going to be satisfied with all the different types of videos, but basically I take my time and make them. So I'm just basically saying that for some of you who may want some type of narration videos for whatever reason, there's one person, apparently he listens to these types of narration videos and he goes to sleep. Apparently. Pulp Fiction is interesting, though. I will say it is kind of scary. I mean, I look at analytics too. And it was funny that it seems someone got to the point of this story when it started to get scary, and basically it stopped there. Someone was watching it, but there was a scary part in the story that was very weird. Because Pulp Fiction is probably some of the best written horror, but I will say Pulp Fiction can get quite scary. And if some people do not know what they're getting into and they think, oh, this is pretty interesting, and then something weird happens, because it is a lot like H.P. Lovecraft stories too. Not particularly this one, The Crawling Horror, but there were so many great authors. This one was written by Thorpe McCluskey. Very interesting, but I know not everyone is going to be interested in pulp fiction. However, I'm going to do pulp fiction videos as well, because pulp fiction is such good writing that is the type of writing I respect, because comic books, manga, and a lot of the content that we have now, pulp fiction magazines were most certainly the precursor to all of that. And so some of you may not realize that, but it is true. Pulp fiction magazines are quite incredible, because if there were not pulp fiction magazines, there would be no comic books, there would be no manga, and therefore there would be no anime either. You know, even Hidetaka Miyazaki is a big reader of pulp fiction, and a lot of these people they go back and they read these pulp fiction stories, and that inspires a lot of the media that they create. Whether it be FromSoft, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, all of the FromSoft games, that most certainly took inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of pulp fiction magazines, especially Bloodborne. But anyhow, people, there is a great deal that I would like to do with this channel. I have viewers from a variety of communities, of different interests. It is very interesting. This is a small channel, but I do have very good discussions in the comment forums, and I think it was worthwhile doing this. I think it was worthwhile doing this channel, in my opinion. And I plan to continue making videos. Every now and then I have to come and do an update and basically tell people what is going on, so to speak. Yes. Anyhow, may you be blessed, and farewell. Alright?